Tell me about when you found out. How did you find out that you had won? Tell us about that. That's a great story as well.
Oh, that's a spooky story. I go to bed at night, and about 11 o'clock, if I'm bored, I'll turn the TV on. Now, you're going to bleep this out? Glenn Beck. So I watch Glenn Beck a lot. I like the guy. So at 11 o'clock, I watched Glenn Beck. So I turned it on to Glenn Beck on Fox, and I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I says, heard this story before. Keep going. Well, I'm in real estate, and the next morning I had a broker's tour, and they were saying, it's going to snow. So I said, better turn it over to Channel 6, KHQ in Spokane, my favorite news channel, by the way. I flipped it over to Channel 6, and I heard Stephanie Vigil say a few words that finished the sentence she was in, and then she looked me straight in the eye and said, this is what you've been waiting for. This is the Mega Million numbers. And she called them off. 4, 8, 15, 25, 47, 42. Wow. And I thought, oh, my good Lord in heaven. And I've had a few heart attacks. Actually, bypass surgery, and I have 12 stents. And I was pronounced dead 3 times in the Wenatchee Hospital about 7 years ago. And the doctor told her, call your children. He's not going to make it through the night. Well, I did, thanks to a great staff up there. Anyway, she always worries. So when I saw that those numbers really rang a bell, I hollered, Carolyn. And then I thought, oh, don't holler like that in the middle of the night. She'll think you're having a heart attack. So I better wake her up. So I go through the door, and we have 3 Pomeranians that sleep in the bed with her. As soon as I crack the door, and she's hollering at the dogs, be quiet, be quiet. And I said, Carolyn, what? I said, get up. She says, what's wrong? And I said, nothing. And I guess she looked at me, and I was pale and shaking. She thought I was having a heart attack. And she said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm perfect. I said, but you need to get out of bed. She says, what's wrong? What's wrong? I says, where are the lottery tickets? She said, they're on the desk in front of the computer. I says, well, come with me. We sat down. We had 2 chairs sitting there. Put the 2 chairs side by side, and I clicked on the Washington Lottery icon, and up came the winning numbers. And I says, look at this and look at that. She looked, and she studied, and she looked, and she studied, and she looked at me and screamed. Tears started flowing down, and I looked at her, and I started crying, and I thought, and all she could say was, is this real? Is this real? And I says, I pinched myself already. We're awake, and this is real.